Well, good morning or afternoon. My name is Wendy Terry, and I'm fortunate to lead the government contracting practice here at Witham. Today, I have with me one of our senior consultants, Mike Seip, who has significant experience helping clients with compliance in CMMC, Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. Mike, thanks for joining today. First, would you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what your background is in the GovCon space?
Sure. Thanks, Wendy. Hello, everyone. Mike Seip. As Wendy said, I'm the CMMC advisory lead at Witham. I work within the cybersecurity group here, and as we talk through some things, I think it'll be clear why CMMC and the cybersecurity domains overlap. But my background as to why I'm actually talking to you now is 10-year veteran of the Navy. I was a naval aviator, flew F-14s and F-18s later on off of the Enterprise, 2 deployments, did a flight instructor tour in Pensacola, and then did federal acquisition and government contracting for 9 years in the R&D space after that. So I have experience as a prime, as a sub contractor, and that interaction with various government, federal, and defense contracting agencies at different levels and with different scopes. So it kind of naturally played out that I think it aligns well with as we spin up CMMC in general, and then specifically the practice at Witham that I play in that space. So I'm happy to do it.
That's great. So, Mike, for those that are not very familiar with the history of CMMC, can you give us like an overview of CMMC and what the latest information, where it's been historically and where it's going, in regards to the rollout by the Department of Defense?
Yes. And that's a good question, and one that is sensitive and dependent to timing and schedule as we go. It's an evolving process. I want to emphasize that, but there is a couple of things that are absolute truisms, and that is there will be a 100% requirement for CMMC compliance for all defense industrial base members and defense supply chain members. Right now, that's for the first day of fiscal year FY26, so October 1st, 2025. It's coming up. That deadline hasn't changed too much, so the rollout is still based upon kind of a 24 to 36 month time horizon. You begin to think a little bit more and look a little bit more into the details of that, and specifically the scope and size, number of contractors, various organizations and agencies that'll need to be compliant and will need to be assessed and audited. It's a very challenging situation. Will we be able to get there from here? It'll be a tough call, but I know the DoD wants to try. In fact, they are pushing very hard because, as we've all seen over the past 12 to 18 months in particular, it's not something that's going to be below the radar when it comes to politics and from particularly congressional oversight. They're getting a lot of heat. I think the expectation is push harder rather than let off the gas. So the short answer or direct answer is looking at about another 24 months before nearly universal compliance will be required as we go. And there's also actual numbers and some detailed information that if you'd like to, I think we'll provide some URL information from Witham shortly, but we have all this you can check on our website, and it shows the rollout schedule. The more to the point though is it's a phase ramp, or it's a ramped rollout for until FY25.
So if I'm a contractor what should I start doing to prepare? For example, if I haven't really done much at this point, what do you recommend a company should start doing to prepare?
It's another good question. And particularly from the perspective of, and with, we tell Witham clients, we've begun discussing present Witham clients that have federal, specifically defense contracts. We've been telling them this recently, and that's, again, looking at the problem as a whole, the problem being the number of uh, agencies, firms, small, medium-sized businesses, et cetera, that will need to be audited, and the timeline. There's going to be a backlog. It's inevitable. Now, the problem is this, is that if CMMC compliance is a predicate for bidding on any specific contract, if you're still on a wait list, without exploring contingency operations and exceptions, injunctions, what have you, there is an elevated risk that you and your firm will be unable to bid on contracts unless you have the signed off audit. So because of that, our recommendation, Witham's recommendation to our clients is begin the process as soon as possible. That's easy to say, but it really does stand to reason. There's not, it's not just saying it for to get a move on because earlier is better. There actually is, legitimate logic behind it. So talk to, if you like to talk with them, speak with someone who is smart on CMMC and the process. To that, briefly, look for a company that is either a registered provider organization or has multiple registered practitioners, CMMC registered practitioners on the staff. With them, we accommodate both, and we certainly will be more than happy to start a discussion with anyone that desires.
So that being said, talk a little bit about what we do, maybe specifically to support our clients' CMMC compliance prep. I mean,
Sure.
I know there's a pre-assessment type process
Yep.
versus, the steps. So can you kind of walk
Yeah.
through that a little bit more in detail?
Sure. And that's it's important when I mentioned, when we discussed earlier, that why I working for the cyber group and within the cyberspace, why that aligns nicely with CMMC, besides the fact that CMMC, one of the letters of the acronym is cybersecurity, it is that the real best way to, really only smart way to determine what needs to be done, what processes need to be onboarded or attributes need to be changed within your organization or your firm, is to do a security assessment, a cybersecurity assessment of where you are now, then map that to the CMMC level 1 or level 3, whatever your criteria, the objective level that you'll need for bidding on whichever contracts you're interested in bidding on, and then a roadmap. How do you get there from here? And so the quick answer is Witham has a long established, and I think amongst the best in the country in terms of quality of personnel, almost all ex-military, in the cyber group, penetration testers, security assessment, virtual CISOs. We have the talent and the experience to be able to roll out a quick or not so quick, a rigorous, if necessary and appropriate, security assessment. And from that, we'll map to CMMC level 1, level 3 to begin with. Again, contract dependent. And then we will work with you. The other, or the last part of that is, and you said it specifically, Wendy, advisory preparation. We can roll out a requirements or attribute mapping with anybody, and that's not cosmic. I think where real value is added, and something that Witham is very good at, is once we have that mapping, here are the areas where we need to focus on, where we need to increase capability, what have you, in order to assure CMMC level X compliance. The art and the fine point of getting there, and helping along the process after the assessment and right up until the day of the audit, in fact, is I think where the real value will be added. And that's one of the areas where we have, I think, a lot of services to offer. And again, it's part of our baseline advisory package.
That's a great answer to the question. And certainly just to wrap up on this, you know, we really enjoy what we do here at Witham, and so we'd love to be able to provide more information to you, whether you're a client or just thinking about CMMC. Certainly you can reach out to either Mike or myself. Our contact information will be provided. And, you know, if you'd like more information, you can always visit our website at witham.com. That's withum.com. Well, Mike, thanks very much for giving us a quick overview and idea on the process, the planning, and how the outcomes should look under CMMC compliance. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk again later.
Yep, more to follow. Thank you.